Oh, hello there. I didn't expect to meet anyone out here tonight. Well, don't be shy. Take a seat. Enjoy the fire and a couple s'mores. I could use the company. Say, are you a fan of scary stories? You know, the ones told in the dark. Of course you are. Why else would you be out here at this hour? Well, if you'd like to hear one, stick around. It's a real joy. Still here? How fun. Alright, let's see. It all began a few years back with an intern for a certain reality TV show. I watched the waves of water slowly grow as we get closer and closer to the dock of Camp Wawaqua. The monotonous hum of the engine could have lulled me to sleep if I let it, but I had to stay aware. And besides, we were less than 10 minutes away. I would have felt a lot better about this trip if those cheap bastards bothered to send more than one intern to explore the entire island. But no, I'll be stuck here till dawn to make sure everything is squeaky clean for the next season. Bullshit. Chef drops me off at the dock without a word. He doesn't even look at me. He's almost as bad as Chris, but I don't say anything. He is my ride home after all. The boat leaves shortly after, and I'm stuck all alone at this crappy summer camp. Alright, I mutter to myself, let's get to work. I drag my legs towards the cabin. I decide to check on the girls' side first. It's empty, but still in pretty solid shape. All but one of the beds are made, no trash anywhere, just a lone towel and a couple makeshift tarot cards. I pocket them in case I get bored. The boys' side was in far worse condition. Mattresses torn open, carvings all over the wall, a couple bootleg-looking immunity idols, and an old pair of boots that smell like death. I gagged before walking out of there and checking the cabin off the list. The mess hall was a short walk away, but on my way there I peeked out into the forest. The wildlife was starting to look normal again. No more squids and hairless squirrels, just birds, snakes, rabbits, and the occasional bear. Their scurrying is almost peaceful. The main lodge is mostly unscathed. The tables are their usual amount of disgusting. A couple stools are kicked over, and the condiments are certainly expired. But besides that, it looks the same as always. The kitchen is a whole different story. The smell of rotting foods hits me like a go-kart. Moldy fruits and meats peek out of the still open fridge and walk-in freezer. What the fuck, chef? I shout out. I knew he was a bad cook, but this is just stupid. I go to close the freezer when something knocks me to the floor. A family of raccoons scurry past me. I breathe and rub the back of my head. I'm a little woozy, but still fine. I groan as I close the freezer's door. The damn thing wasn't even left on. No wonder everything smells like shit. I tidy the kitchen up a bit, closing cabinets, tossing trash, and removing some broken glass from the window. I almost drained the sink, but then I decided it's not worth catching whatever parasites might live in that water. I end my time in the kitchen by shutting off the fridge and then check it off the list. The hike to the campfire isn't too bad. Even if my head is still killing me, calming sounds of nature help ease my pain. Yep. Still all here, I stayed, staring at the campgrounds. The only thing out of place are a couple empty marshmallow bags, but if Chris was willing to dump radioactive waste here, I'm sure he wasn't appalled by the prospect of littering. I walk around and notice a couple holes in the ground, probably from the old radioactive marshmallows. I start to worry that maybe this much exposure to radiation might be unsafe, but those worries are quickly squished when I remember my time here last season. If I was gonna get cancer, I'd already have it. I check it off the list and make my way towards the spot I've been dreading this whole time. The mine. I swallow my fear and continue through the island. I don't even have a choice. I've already sold my soul to McLean. Where the nature calmed me before, it terrified me now. I can't get the images of that place out of my mind. The dark halls, the massive rodents, and that poor kid. Remembering what he went through made my stomach drop. I wonder if his parents even care how he is or what he is. I try to silence my thoughts as I reach the mine. The entrance is still blocked off, but I have to make sure it sticks. As I inch closer, the smell of metal fills my nostrils. I ignore it as I test if the rocks are still sturdy. I push them with all my might and they don't budge an inch. I figure that it's safe enough. I turn around and trip down the hill. I tumble for a good 20 seconds before I reach the bottom. I notice that the entire deck of tarot cards spilled out. I sigh and clean them up. The last three I pick up are the Magician, the Hanged Man, and the Angry Leprechaun. I'm not the most experienced with these things, but I'm pretty sure that last one was just made up. I giggle to myself a bit before I check off the mine and march my way towards the final stop. The Playa de Losers. It's not too far away, so I make it there quickly. The main court is perfectly clean, grill is covered up, bar empty, and the pool remains shockingly clean. Only a few still leaves are on its surface. The only part that hasn't fared too well against the elements is the hot tub, with dirt and other grime building up on its surface. I avert my gaze and walk through the screen door. The inside was so much more grand than I ever could imagine. How Chris could call this a cottage, I will never understand. I make my way through the building, scanning the bedrooms, the kitchen, and the lounge. The entire thing is empty, spare the furniture, a couple paintings of Chris, and one particularly messy bedroom where one could only imagine the horror that would present itself if a black light was brought inside. Everything on the ground floor was fine, so I make my final journey into the basement. I look down the steps and flick the light switch. Then again. And again. Fuck, I groan out. Of course those cheap bastards cut the power. I grab my flashlight and journey into the abyss. This back room wasn't used for much outside of storage. There's just a couple old props back here, some golden statues, an old CD, and even more paintings of Chris. What a fucking narcissist, I laughed to myself. I begin to turn around before I hear a gentle squeak. I turn around to see the box with the head pointing out. I immediately jump back and scream before I can gather my bearings. I inch towards the machine before I realize it's just a prop. It's really lifelike though. Chris wanted to make sure it looked just like Scott after his mauling. We couldn't find the real deal after his trip with Fang, but this worked just fine for the finale. I relax as I notice a little passage that I missed. An old camera room. Boxes upon boxes of CDs line the floor. All labeled too. There's even the old drama machine back here. It's starting to smell like shit though. I plug my nose and start digging through the boxes. Scott shenanigans, Hurl of Shame, Zoe and Mike's first date. Dawning? I spend who knows how long just watching the show. I've already done everything, might as well have a little bit of fun. After what smells like hours in that atrocious smelling room, I get up before I hear a creak, then a groan, then a snap. The floor gives out and starts crashing down. I scream as I fall for almost 30 seconds into a pool of water. Everything stings as I paddle my way to shore. I moan on the beach inside this mine before that smell starts to hit me again. I look to my right and throw up instantly. The drama machine cracked open to reveal a disgusting sight. A rotting body covered in maggots. It would be completely unrecognizable without a single silver necklace pointing out. Alejandro? I managed to choke out, scurrying backwards. I can't bear it any longer. I sprint in the other direction. I don't know the way out, but anywhere is better than here. I thank God that my flashlight still works, or else I'd be completely engulfed in darkness. I keep running for what feels like hours before I come to a main area. In the middle of this room full of barrels is a throne of bones with a briefcase and a picture of a homeschooled kid from the first seasons. I notice the torn red cloth and realize I am not the first intern to experience this hell. I slowly tiptoe through before my ears perk up. I hear something. Chewing? No. Tearing? I pan my head to the right to see the skeleton of a shark with a broken tooth, picked completely dry, and the silhouette of a man eating something. I focus my eyes and notice orange hair. I come to the painful realization of what happened to Scott as I barely manage to not make a noise. I choke everything down and keep moving forward. I silently sneak through when suddenly, the tearing stops. I turn around to see the figure staring at me, eyes piercing through the dark. I stop moving, stop blinking, stop breathing. The entire room is still. His glazed over eyes pierce into my very soul. I look around for anything useful, but the moment my gaze is off him, he lunges at me. I barely dodge and start booking it. I can't stop running. He's right behind me. I just have to keep moving. The walls are littered with blood. Poorly drawn caricatures of the cast stare daggers at me. The phrase "abandoned by McLean" lines the walls. Everything there begins to etch itself into my mind. I keep running till I see a glimmer of hope, an elevator shaft with steel rope hanging down. So I jump and climb, praying that he won't climb after me. I keep it moving. I don't stop when the cards fall out of my pockets. I don't stop when the rope tears into my hands. I don't stop when I lose my flashlight and am left alone in the abyss. My upper body is sore. My arms are on fire, and my legs can give out at any moment, but I have no other option. I see the faint glow of sunset and crawl out of the shaft and, for a brief moment, feel genuine hope. I sprint towards the exit before I hear him behind me. I turn around to see him. No. It slowly shuffling towards me. I turn back and BAM! I slam against the rocks. The entrance was sealed. I'm trapped. As the fuzz from my eyes clear, the last thing I see are broken and bloody fingernails beside the rocks, with the message "abandoned by everyone" etched into them. Whoa, you okay there? Seem a little shook. Hey, that's alright. You'd best head out anyways. They say if you stay by the fire too long, it starts to claim ya. Aw, don't look so sad. Whether it's a year or longer you next step on by, I'll be waiting here with another story to tell. Just not tonight. See you later, kiddo. And remember, stay golden.